Welcome back to Talking Wolves. We're here for part 2 of the Sell, Loan, Keep series. Today we're going to be looking at the midfielders in the current Wolves squad and deciding whether we would sell them, loan them or keep them for the 23-24 season. My name is Dave. Alongside me today we've got Mr. Finn Morris. Finn, how are you keeping?
All good, thank you, mate. Yeah, all good.
Good. We've got George Russell. George, how are you?
Sam, mate, how are you?
Yeah, all good, thank you. And we've got Mr. Matt Cooper. Matt, how are we?
Yeah, same as I was half an hour ago, mate. Thank you very much.
I knew. That's why I started laughing. I knew it was coming anyway.
Throughout this, you'll start to see the sunset just behind me, and then for the attackers, you should be in pitch black.
Yeah. I'm sure we have that joke every year, every time we do this.
It just never gets old.
Yeah, like I said, today we're going to be looking at the midfielders in the squad. And Matt, we're going to kick off with Mario Lemina, a January signing for Wolves, come in, had a pretty big impact on this squad. What do you think for next season?
Yeah, absolutely keep him. Very underrated player. I liked him when he was at Fulham and Southampton. Seems to have corrected some of his off the field antics as well, grown up a little bit, and great bit of business. It was Wolves could have signed him for about 1.52 million as well.
Oh God, yeah.
Which Liam Keane announced on the Express and Star podcast, but Bruno didn't want him. But everything we've been needed really.
Yeah. I do wonder. Obviously, we'll talk about Boubacar Traore in a minute as well. But he was quite a late signing, so I wonder if Lemina was the sort of original plan for that position, and Boubacar was almost sort of a panic last minute buy for that similar sort of role. Maybe I
think he was at Southampton.
Oh, right, okay. Before
not South. Where was he before he went to Nice?
Fulham.
He would be Fulham.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I remember Matt as well when we first linked with him. We were looking at like his percentiles and stuff, and they were like almost too good, weren't they? You're looking at him like, is this the same guy that played in the Premier League before? Because he did have such a weird reputation, and spoke to Southampton fans who said, yeah, he's a good player, but for whatever reason behind the scenes, it just didn't work out. But seems, George, that this has been a very decent signing for Wolves and worked out exactly how they wanted it to.
Yeah, one of the better players this season in this current squad, and made a big impact in January. I think his energy on and off the pitch. Obviously, he had all those nice, off the field moments as well with I forgot the little boy's name now. Fraser.
Yeah, Fraser.
Yeah, Fraser. And it just seemed like a good bloke. And sometimes the penny does drop, and I feel like it's right player, right time, right club, and like infectious. Like I'm pleased that he's with the team and 100% keep him for next season.
Yeah, it sounds like Finn. It's a resounding keep. But any quick thoughts on Mario Lemina?
No, yeah, just glad he's grown up at nearly 30 years old and he's been a good asset since.
Yeah, George.
Yeah.
I know.
He's 40 and still hasn't grown up.
It's very, very good signing for Wolves, and obviously looking forward to seeing how he gets on as well next season. Finn, we'll talk about Boubacar Traore, originally on loan. Wolves have announced they're going to make that deal permanent in the summer. Not been really given that much opportunities this season, but obviously when we have seen him, there's definitely a player there, Finn. Had certain opportunities under Bruno Lage, been injured for most of the time. Lopetegui's been here, but do you think he's another player to keep around for next season?
Yeah, he's first started to make an impact. I remember it was at Crystal Palace away, Brentford away, those sorts of games where he made a real difference because he was a different profile of midfielder. I remember his tackling being effective but almost dangerous. Like it was yellow card every time, wasn't it? He seemed like basically that sort of unpolished diamond. And I think, there's definitely a player in there. Lopetegui seems to really, really like him. Just unfortunate how it fell with that great goal in the cup, and then having the injury, and then was it a reoccurrence or setback or whatever of the injury. So never really got fully going, but it's definitely a player there. It's a keep for me.
He had something going forward as well, George, because I think it was Arsenal right before the World Cup where he went on some fantastic run. I think he played the ball through for Guedes as well when he was last man, and should have been obviously probably a red card. But he's got something about him on in all thirds of the pitch. It could be a big season for him next year, couldn't it, if we keep him around?
Yeah, especially with the outs, you think that are likely to happen, whether we want to keep him or not. He'll probably end up having a big impact on the team next season. Like what the limited I've saw of him, like say Palace away, obviously we days ago, and he was that's when we lost the game. Really, was when he took off all the momentum, and when he brought Moutinho and Hodge on, he definitely missed him. I can't say I didn't see any of the Leeds game because I was away. I obviously saw the goal. Everyone, I'd message saying how great it was, waxing lyrical about his performance as well. So, look, I haven't seen enough of him. I'd definitely keep him on that basis. There's definitely other players in this part that we're going to talk about that I'd get rid of before Boubacar Traore.
The positive start, Matt. 2 out of 2, I think. Boubacar Traore.
Yeah, man. I really like him. Something about him that I really enjoy. He seems enthusiastic. His ability to win balls high up the pitch as well. He's just got that knack of anticipating the opposition really well. So I think he can be a little bit rash, similar to Totti, really. Like he can just like it's a little bit raw. But yeah, I really like him, and a shrewd bit of business by the club as well, because it ain't cost the earth, has it?
No. We'll move on to you, Matt, for Pablo Sarabia as well. Again, it's just such a strange signing because came in January. Lopetegui obviously desperate to bring him in, and seemed on paper like it was going to be a really exciting deal. And he's had some good moments, he's had some quiet moments, but in recent times, not really been given a chance in the first team.
Yeah, weird one. Think a bit of a risk-free gamble for the club. Probably on a lot of money coming from PSG, but in terms of transfer free, it was peanuts really for a player of his experience. Hasn't really worked out. I like him. I think he's a really intelligent player. I think in a different system, he'd probably be more effective. Fans don't like him because he's back 5 for coffee.
Sorry, I said I wouldn't do it.
I think because he doesn't go past players like you likes of Neto and Adam. Fans don't think he's any good, but I think he's a very talented footballer. Whether he's cut out for the Premier League, I'm not too sure, but I wouldn't be against keeping him. But I think he needs a change of system for him to be able to reach his full potential.
Yeah, George, what do you reckon? I think I'd probably keep him around as well. I think you rate him as well, don't you?
Yeah, I'll rate him highly. I think there's obviously reasons why he hasn't been in the 11 recently. Like I said before, I think Matt's gone to a bit more.
I'm just fire across the back.
Roof's on fire.
I was going to say the new Marvel film looks shit with that CGI. I like him a lot. I think there's probably reasons why he hasn't been in the starting 11. Bloody hell!
Sorry, Matt.
Starting 11. In terms of he's obviously recently had twins. I think parent for the first time. He obviously is quite slender, and slight, and he probably just need to bulk up a little bit for Premier League. I know that's such a lazy sort of connotational thing to say, but genuinely, I feel that is probably part of what needs to happen. Talented footballer, 100% keep him. I just hope we see him more next year.
I don't think he's going to bulk up though at that age. Just can't see it happening.
But I think physically, I think in the pre-season, he'll probably have a much more demanding pre-season. The Wolves will try and get him used to that, I suppose. But again, he didn't play. He very rarely kicked a ball for PSG for the first 3 or 4 months of the season as well. So hopefully, more big pre-season for him. He can kick on. Finn, what do you think?
Yeah, I'd echo that. You want him to be that sort of Juan Mata, David Silva. That's what we all pictured in our head, didn't we? That sort of player. Hasn't quite been that. But as you say, what's it been? Maybe 4 different cities to live in 2 years, 2.5 years, and twins, as you say. These sort of things often are underappreciated. And nice and settled start to the season. I think we've got a player on our hands, and I hope so, because as you say, he probably is on a lot of money.
Yeah, no, fingers crossed. That's what we've lacked, creativity, full stop. We can blame the goal scorers, which we'll talk about in the next video. But at the end of the day, creativity hasn't been there. Finn, we'll start off with you, Matheus Nunes. Now, this one's a strange one because, again, I think we've seen it and said it all throughout the season. You can clearly see there's a talented footballer there, but for what Wolves paid, we haven't really had the return this season. But if you were given a certain amount of cash on the table right now, what would it take for you to sell Nunes? Or is he a player that you'd be desperate to keep around next season?
not desperate. I would like to keep and see him played in his not that I'm going to do it again, but in the position that we saw him thrive, maybe, and see what happens there. It's not been good all round, has it? I like how he's almost come out and owned that he knows he hasn't been good enough, and there is a real play there. So, if I'm saying what I'm happy for, anything near, he's probably worth less now than what we paid for him. However, there is that potential to go up to way more. As you say, with everything that we're saying, the current situation, he might be one, so it gets us out of a short-term hole with the value that he'd command. But I think if you got 50, you'd probably have to start looking at it. But for me,
easy.
I would like to, I'd like to keep him and see him maybe in the position that he thrives in. Maybe just an idea.
Yeah, George. I mean, you're definitely not gonna make your money back. I don't think personally. You think next season could be almost the breakthrough for Nunes?
It needs to be if he stays here because his reputation's tanking by the day. Let's be honest about it. He got hauled off again at half-time against Arsenal. I think he's been such a disappointment, really, from what the player we thought we were getting to the player we got. I do respect him, like Finn said, in terms of he's come out. He's admitted it's not been good enough from him, and I've been severely disappointed and underwhelmed on the whole. And I know there's reasons for that. He's been played out of position. I agree. There's definitely a footballer in there, but if you get your money back, I'm snapping your hands off. I'd sell him if we got anywhere near the money back. I just don't think he wants to be here, and that's the same with a few of the players. Like for me, when I've spoke on the podcast about gutting a lot, in terms of I just want players here that want to be here, and quite frankly, if you don't want to be here and you get the money back for him, I would just get rid of him. Like just cut your losses and just go. You know what? Thanks, but see you later.
I disagree. I think he wants to be here, and I don't think it's through the want of trying. I just think he's been played out of position. Probably plays better without Neves in the team, and I think next season will be the acid test. Keep playing in right midfield and left midfield. You're going to get exactly what we keep getting. Needs to play in a midfield 3 or a midfield 2. Midfield 2, preferably with back 5. Finn, got your back, mate.
Drinking the clock already.
Yeah.
Let them cook.
But I don't think anyone will come in for him because I was speaking to bloke going to some bed shop earlier who said that Nunes going to Liverpool. He's like a good player. He's not good enough. And I was banging a drum pre-season about signing him. When they signed him, I thought this is a game changer, and he's been so underwhelming. But I think he's worth persevering with because the ability he's got, if he improves his season by 25-50% next season, you're asking 60-70 million for him.
It's another player as well where you look, and I know he'd been with Wolves pretty much throughout most of the season, but if you look at Wolves' penultimate preseason game, it was against Sporting, and he was playing for Sporting in that game. That's how late we'd signed him. So again, it's another player where it's taken a year for him to adjust. We saw it with a couple of players. Trincao was one, and I think we all knew there's a talented player there, but didn't show it. He's had a half-decent season again at Sporting. But I think it's one of those things where give them 12 months, and the second season is really where you can judge them. Next year, it might be shambles. He might be crap again, and we'll have a different discussion. But, I think there is obviously clearly a talented footballer there. There was an interesting comment quickly you made there, Matt. Someone had commented on the reaction after the Arsenal game saying, you're talking about this club now at the start of the season. You're raving about all these signings on your podcast. I was like, well, because we're not slagging a player off before they've put the shirts on, we want to see them.
Nunes is like he's got the ability.
I saw no negative comments about Nunes. Even the value people were satisfied with because he had that potential. But
you know what though, and we're notoriously bad at this. I don't have confidence in the club of yielding a good fee from for any player because we just don't do it very well. So with all these buy, sell, keep loans. If they go, then I don't know. I just don't think we're very good at selling players.
Yeah, well, let's put keep and hope and pray that it's going to be a positive season for Nunes. But obviously, I appreciate people's comments about him and his potential future. Joao Moutinho obviously wasn't not been in the match day squad the last two games of the season. Lopetegui pretty much made out it was Moutinho's choice. Wasn't there for the final home game for the lap of honour and contracts up at the end of the season. I can pretty much preempt your answer.
We can only go off what we know from Lopetegui's press conference, him saying he didn't want to turn up. whether or not they've had a spat or whatnot, regardless, I think it's, or if Lopetegui's told him to stay away, it doesn't seem that the case. I think it's really poor for Moutinho. I think it's really, really poor. He hasn't ruined his legacy at the club, but fans have absolutely adored him and worshipped the ground he walked on. And he's one of those players where I feel like he's immune from criticism. When a lot of times he probably should be criticised. And the fact he hasn't turned up, I just think it's really poor, and kind of hits home that these players, when it comes to, they really don't care about the fans. Not just Wolves players, just footballers in general.
Yeah.
I don't think they give a monkeys, mate. Really poor.
Yeah, and George, I think from day, obviously we renewed it last summer. I think we were quite excited, but this season is just sort of, he's not really had any real impact, has he?
No, I think those first 18 months in a Wolves shirt, probably arguably the best player we've ever had. When he first comes to the club, sort of petered out a little bit. He's getting a bit older. It's incredible to think that someone like Joao Moutinho, he's made his most club appearances for Wolverhampton Wanderers as well. But as Matt said, I just think the whole thing reeks. There was fans slagging Bolly off for refusing to be in a match day squad to go to before Forest, and then you haven't heard anyone say anything about Moutinho. And again, you can only go off one side of the story. But for him not to turn up at Molineux to have a lap or a clap, or for me it stinks. It really does. And for me, I know it won't taint everyone's opinion on him, but for me, it has left a bit of a sour taste because all he had to do was come in his tracksuit, clap the fans. That was it. And he hasn't done that. And
I think something's going on. We'll come on to it in the podcast later in the week. But something's not right, man. Something's not right.
Yeah, well, I fully appreciate if he's had a deal agreed elsewhere and he doesn't want to get injured. That's one thing, but to not even be there and just give you appreciation is another thing. He had a couple of decent cameos when he came off the bench in home games this season, especially under Lopetegui, where he just pressed the life out of teams for the last sort of 10-15 minutes, and that has a positive impact. But whenever he started games, you could see he just didn't have that physical presence that was going to win you football matches in the Premier League.
Yeah, it's just the right timing all round, isn't it? It's not even a sell. It's just a release. And as you say, it would have been a release with fond memories. I think they are slightly soured, but still, I think it's one in a few years. People aren't really going to remember it. I was going to say just then that, with the injury thing, you can't get injured going to the game. But I remember that game, Matt nearly got injured walking down the stairs. So,
my ankle still isn't right.
So maybe Moutinho did the right thing because it was slippy around Molineux that day.
It was. They should have played the Tannoy announcement that they used to play with Andreas Fleuris in about Molineux was very slippy outside.
You be careful, obviously Joao Moutinho, great player, but obviously his time at the club is up. Finn, Ruben Neves, big rumours about his future, but in an ideal world, I'd assume all of us would want to keep him.
Yeah, I'd love to keep him. You'd almost want to keep with the caveat of a new contract as well, because losing him for free, doesn't make any sense. But it's one you're always going to want to keep. But also, I feel like we owe him Champions League football, almost like unbelievable player. I feel almost bad that he's having to play for Wolves. It's strange, and he's not necessarily stole the show this season, has he? He won Player of the Season, but hasn't been. He's at the level where Xavi's saying he doesn't want him, isn't he? It's not like Barcelona are clamouring for him. So I think it's sell because I don't know. I want to keep him. But I'd wave him. It's not like the Moutinho thing, is it? You wave him off with the most respect. And I almost cried that last second. The last step off the Molineux turf. It was, weird feeling. So either way, I'm kind of happy. It's a weird one, but kind of happy either way. Apart from a loan.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. George, what do you think?
So I would sell him purely because that's what he deserves. He deserves so much better than this shit show at the minute, and probably what we're going to be facing into next year. I can't be. He's played over 250 games in it for Wolves. Probably probably arguably 250 more games than he probably ever should have played for Wolverhampton Wanderers. You know, we've been blessed to have him. He owes us absolutely nothing. Goes my blessing. Like, I just wish we could have, and you know, I wish we could have won something with him. Like, and I know we won the championship, but.
And the Asia Cup.
Neves.
Asia
And the Asia Cup. Yeah, you know, we should have more, but it'd have been nice,
and,
you know. For
and the Alicante trophy last year. Come on, lads.
Yeah.
Forget.
Yeah, maybe I've made. You know what? Yeah, you know what? It's fucking won too much, the greedy bastard.
We can't keep winning. There's too much winning.
But no, it's just like look, like he's gone, isn't he? Like as much as we all want to keep him, he's gone, and I hope he goes. The only thing that I hope he didn't go to Barcelona for is he just doesn't feel like Xavi rates him. So I just don't want him to go somewhere he's going to rot.
Yeah,
Like, he deserves to go and play week in, week out, be adored, that sort of thing, at that sort of level. So it goes my blessing though. But
if he goes to Barcelona though, and he'll be back at Wolves on loan, I reckon, in a couple of years.
Just strange club.
The problem is though, he's going to be compared to Busquets, isn't he? And Busquets, one of, if not probably that best player in that role for the last 10 and 15 years. So I'd sell him. And if they don't sell him, he'll sign a new deal anyway. I really think he will, which I think says a lot about him in terms of his love for the club. But I'd sell him. We need money. He's probably worth 25, 30 million. I don't think they'll get 40 million for him with a year left on his current deal. But yeah, what a footballer. And one of those you can't accuse of not being asked about the club like most of them.
Yeah. So we'll put sell, obviously, for the good of his own career. I think you could also say, you know, those few games that Wolves played without him, albeit they were home games, we actually played pretty good football, some of our better football, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way for Ruben Neves either. So we'll wait and see on his future there. Joe Hodge, not really given many opportunities in the first team this season, to be honest. I think Steve Davis gave him his first team debut. Been in and around the first team squads, but I think probably alone is most likely for him.
Yeah, 100% alone. I'd almost worry for him. He seems like quite a quiet character, doesn't he? So whether he's gonna, like, I don't know if they're keeping him in house almost to keep him sheltered. Do you know what I mean? It might just be how he is on the pitch, and it might be because he's little. That I almost want to look after him. But no, yeah, I think it's alone. You've seen Kundal not necessarily set the championship alight, but have a good season for Swansea, score a few goals against West Brom. So it's a similar one like that same sort of midfielder. It's done good for him. He'll hopefully do well for Hodge as well.
Yeah, Jordan, what do you reckon?
Sell or loan. I'm not too bothered by either outcome. To be honest, and I mean this in the most respectful way possible. Just a very tidy but forgetful footballer.
Very Jack Price.
Yeah, very vanilla footballer. Like you could probably get, and again, I mean this is the biggest. It sounds like I'm being a knob here. I'm not. Like it's just, yeah, I just don't think you miss him. Like I think tidy footballer, good footballer, technically sound, but he's never. You know, if he's starting for you in the Premier League or even in your match day squads, in my opinion, you're going to be in and around that bottom 3, 4, or 5 of the league, and yeah, that's just what I think.
Yeah,
I feel like he's got a bit of the David Davis about him. Like come in, plays a couple of games. He's actually a good player, but I don't think he's got a future in the Wolves first team for as long as we're in the Premier League. So similar to Kundal as well. Sell or loan. Yeah, sell or loan.
I'll put loan because I think I could see it. I don't think there's much value in him at the moment because I can't see many clubs wanting to take that punt on him. So maybe do the old, give him a year contract extension, send him out on loan, and see what his value is at the end of next season. But I think definitely middle part, mid-table championship team, that sort of side should be absolutely fine. Looking at players that are out on loan now, Bruno Jordão.
Bloody hell.
He's still in the contract by his club.
Still waiting to come on, isn't it?
I know, is it a big failure? Obviously, I think that was almost a favour as part of the Neto deal. That game against Reading a few years ago in the Carabao Cup, and everyone's always going to bring that up. Him and Meriton Shabani had a decent cameo, and then he got injured, but really struggled with injury. He's currently out on loan in Portugal at Santa Clara and barely got a kick there. So I think it's probably time to move him on, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I forgot that we still had him, to be honest. So yeah, move him on. It's a shame for him because he's not had the best of luck with injuries, but that's not our problem. So.
Played 1 game for us in the league, 5 games overall. He had 4 in the cup that first season. Went to Family Cow on loan, 9 games in the league. Grasshopper last season, 12 games, and this season just 10 games overall. George, again, is it a player you let go? George now is 24 now, coming to 25 at the start of next season.
Sell, release, whatever. Just bomb squad, whatever. Just get rid.
Bomb squad.
He actually made his debut in the Europa League.
Whoa.
Finn, let go. Was he part of your amazing Grasshoppers team that you keep talking about?
He was, and apparently he's really good at Warzone. So if he needs a second career,
oh my word!
No, he is. You know, like those tweets where it's like, "Oh, Sancho, it's not too late to go to uni or whatever." Maybe he could. Wolves esports. I don't know. Research.
Oh, mate, a little crossover. Jeff will be buzzing.
Yeah, apparently he's pretty handy at that. But yeah, on the football front, yeah, probably a sell.
Thanks for the memories, Bruno. Finn, Luke Cundle, decent loan for him at Swansea. I think a few of their fans would be desperate to actually keep him if they could. But you think another loan is on the cards for him?
Yeah, how old is he now? Is 20, maybe 21? Yeah, another loan without going into massive research.
21, yeah. Just turned 21.
Another loan and then reassess.
I'd sell him, but he goes down as a bit of a cult hero because he's got 2 goals against the Albion this year, hasn't he? So. Just sell it again, and I mean that. Yeah, true. Same as what I said with Hodge, and I mean that in the biggest threats in the world, just neat, tidy footballers, but not really going to make an impact in Premier League level for us anyway at the moment.
Yeah, Matt.
Yeah, sell.
Oh, you're a sell. Okay. Yeah. Matt finishes off. The man, the myth, the legend, Hayao Kawabe.
I don't know. He might get some Christmas temp work at Asda or something. Why on earth did we sign him? It's got to be like there's got to be something going on where we owe Grasshoppers money or something.
We put a little bit of respect on his name, by the way. 9 goals this season for Hayao Kawabe.
Yeah. Yeah. How old is he again?
37. No, 27.
Yeah. Well, at least we've seen him with like the Wolves shirt in his hands. We've signed a lot of players, but we haven't actually seen him holding a Wolves shirt. So he's got a lot further than some. But
he had an interview. Wolves uploaded an interview of him at the club.
Yeah. He must have known he was going back to Grasshoppers. What a futile
9 goals. 9 goals.
That was for the media team.
9 goals, 8 assists in the league this season.
Hasn't he just been called up to the Japan squad as well? Or am I made that up?
I was going to say, has he ever played for them? Has he made it? Would this be his
sure
first cap?
called up.
He's played 4 games for him and he's been called up to the latest squad as well.
I have to get Tom Parker on to tell us how good he is.
He's good in my team, if anyone can.
So, what are you saying, Matt? Get rid?
Yeah, whatever. Definitely not going to
play.
play.
2 years left on his contract.
So how long did he sign a deal for? 3 years?
When did he sign? 2022.
It's in January, wasn't it?
3.5 year deal, yeah.
Fucking hell. Yeah, whatever you want to do. He's not going to play for Wolves, is he? So,
George.
Yeah, I think. We'll end up loaning him back to Grasshoppers because there's some dodgy, weird thing where we'll just loan him again for another 2 years, and that'll be it. Yeah.
Finn.
It's a loan.
Yeah, can't quite part with him yet. I'm too attached. So, yeah, another loan.
So, what are we saying here? Loan, sell? Are we getting rid?
I'll say loan. I'll loan for.
Let's loan
for Finn's sake.
Thanks,
I can't
everyone.
wait now until the end of next season. Jonah does an edit of us slagging him off after he scored 15 Premier League goals.
Always weak of foot.
Yeah, but there we are. That is the sell, loan, keep for the Wolverhampton midfielders. Who
did we not do Joao Gomez?
No, we didn't.
Oh my!
You're all right. Oh my word! I'm so sorry, Jack.
It's an obvious one, I think. Like we don't need to really cover it.
Yeah. Go on, Finn. Kick us off as Joao Gomes. I do apologise that I missed him.
Right, he's my new favourite player. I think we discussed last week, wasn't he? He's probably becoming everyone's favourite player. So yeah, resounding keep. I can't see there being like him getting so desperate for money that we resell him. But I think in the next few years there'll be big bids coming in. So it's like a very, very accomplished Premier League footballer. So yeah, keep.
Good.
Keep that baller. Just very, very good. Only going to get better.
Yeah, thanks.
Should probably be one of the first names on the team sheet next year, I would have thought. And I'm sure we'll see the best of him when Neves moves on. And I mean that with the biggest respect in the world. They'll probably grow into that role because he's going to have to. Otherwise, we're going to get battered every week.
Matt, keep Joao Gomes.
Yeah, wonderful footballer. Got a very bright future, whether that's at Wolves or elsewhere. And kudos to Wolves for bringing him in because it looks like a really good bit of business.
Yeah, there we go. Joao Gomez keep, and that is, I'll try the intro again, outro again, sorry. That is
he's all over the place.
That is the midfielders for the Wolverhampton Wanderers, sell, loan, keep for the 23-24 season. Guys, if you enjoyed the video today, be sure to hit the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you haven't caught the goalkeepers and defenders video, go and check that one out. And the forwards video will be out the day after this one is released. So be sure to check that one out as well. And we will catch you all very, very soon.